All right, what's up, everybody? I had a couple thoughts on my mind I wanted to share. I wanted to get it to a platform where I know I had time to really expand on it. I apologize if you guys can't see me, but I know you can hear me. I know you see the title, Victims Fight. That's what I want to talk about here. That's our theme. And I'm not even sure what sparked this thought, but it came to me as I was driving home here that as black people, we have so much bad advice given to us. And in fact, now that I'm talking about it, I know where I got the idea from. Earlier to today, in a group I'm part of, a cryptocurrency movement called Koinda, I'm part of that group. There's a lot of us that are involved. I'm just one of many. And some guy's in there, and unfortunately, he's one of these people who's been trolling our group for a little while. He's a white Hispanic male. And when we're talking about reparations, he's in the conversation talking about reparations, telling us what we don't need, etc. and whatnot. Earlier today, he posed another silly question, and a lot of black folks fell for it and were in there answering his questions and not even realizing how bad he's trolling us and making fun of us. Because there are just too many black people that have all the wrong advice given to them in terms of how we go about this whole thing. So even when a white person jumps in our conversations on reparations and says that we don't need reparations, there's some black person who's right there with them agreeing, oh yeah, we don't need no reparations. And a lot of this comes from advice and ideas that stem all the way back, of course, to slavery. And we have to think about where we get this advice from. This advice that we don't need anything from America. America doesn't owe us anything when they sure as hell do. They owe black people like nobody's business. In fact, I was listening to Tariq speaking on ADOS, and one of the questions that was posed to him, which also fed into here, is when are black people going to stop blaming white folks for everything? When are we going to take responsibility for our situations? And I'm glad Tariq brought up Black Wall Street. Because there are so many examples like this where black people actually have taken our, taken responsibility for our situations. We've built businesses, we've built wealth, and what happens to us time and time again in this country is we get sabotaged. The Black Panther Party was a party all about self-sufficiency, and it was sabotaged. Move out in Philadelphia was all about black people getting off of this white system, and it was sabotaged. And again, we know about Black Wall Street, but there are so many towns like it where we built wealth, we had successful businesses, we were doing well to do, and then white folks came in and blew our towns up. And one of the dangerous problems that we have as a people, as black people, is when we fall for this, we're not a victim shit. When we fall into this talking point that white people created for us, we don't realize what we're doing to our own selves. See, some of us think it's actually the right way to go about it. Maybe we learned it from our parents, but what I need you guys to think about for a moment is, where did your parents get that advice from? Most likely, your grandparents. Especially if you're black, your grandparents got that advice from your great-grandparents. And in many cases, your great-grandparents were slaves or were born to slaves. That's the situation that we're in. And this "you're not a victim" talking point comes directly from Massa. So no matter what they keep doing to black people, we keep responding with, well, I'm not a victim, we're not victims. But we are victims. And I'm about to explain why we shouldn't feel no shame about that shit. Anybody who wants to make us feel shame, they can kiss our black asses. Let me explain something to you right now. When you are a victim of something, two things happen. There are two typical responses to when you are being victimized, when something is happening to you. Two things. Either you lay there and you take it, or you fight back. Here's the problem with black people telling one another, telling ourselves that we're not victims. We are eliminating our natural response to what is happening to us. We are disintegrating our natural response, our flight or fight response, because we no longer feel like we're victims. So we don't see the need to boycott Gucci because we don't see the fight. We don't understand starting family businesses because we don't see the fight. We don't understand supporting black businesses because we don't see the fight. We don't understand building our relationships up because we don't see the fight. We don't realize we're in a fight. We have been told by white people, mostly, that we're not victims. And this is bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. We need to understand that. I'll be writing some papers on this. I'll be going into this a lot more in the next coming months because it just dawned on me. I realized, like, yeah, damn it, why are we always falling for the we're not a victim conversation? Because when you think about it, all it is a self-defeating conversation. We are victims, goddammit, and there's nothing wrong with admitting that, because what it helps us do is it recognizes the situation we're in. You know, watering it down and saying, "Oh, y'all aren't victims," that's bullshit. One of the main reasons that police terrorize black neighborhoods is because black people cannot afford good lawyers. If black people could afford good lawyers, we'd be suing the shit out of the police. And winning too. So they do so many things to us because we don't have what? Finances. And why don't we have finances? Because this country has spent 300 and 400 years making sure that we won't have finances. And again, when we start talking that, well, we're not victims, all that does is it stops us from fighting for justice. This is why we're all over the place on reparations. We're not all in agreement because too many of us don't realize we need to be fighting for reparations. Trillions of dollars are owed. We know this. We know this country's wealth has been built from our ancestors. We know they have never broken off what they owe to us. And we also know, we know this, that if America actually pays this debt, this country will be as great as so many people think it could be. Because what is one thing we know about black people? We spend our money. We have money in all kinds of folks' pockets. And yeah, there are some folks who say that we're going to spend it all up, and that's fine. Let those of us who are going to spend our money up, spend it up, because it's only going to help the economy. It's going to help somebody's business. It's going to improve somebody somewhere. Meanwhile, there's a bunch of black folks who are going to invest the money. They're going to double the money, triple the money, 10 times the money. And what is that going to do? It's only going to be a good thing. It's going to lead to black people inventing more things, having money to invest in more things. I'm telling you, this is actually a good thing. But too many of us are caught up in the bullshit narrative that nobody's a victim, that nothing therefore needs to be done. See, when you don't identify as a victim, when you don't feel like nothing's being done to you, you're not going to fight. There is no fight or flight. There is no lay down and take it or fight back. It's just lay down and take it. Because nothing's happening to you, right? That's what you're telling yourself. That's what you're allowing others to tell you. Nothing is happening to you. Yet something is. Imagine for a moment if a rape victim is being raped, and in the middle of the rape tells herself, "I am not a victim. Nothing is happening to me." What are the chances that she fights back? Slim to none. Because why? Because she doesn't feel like anything is happening. She's going to sit there and take it. She's going to take the abuse. But if she feels like this should not be happening, this is not right, what is going on here? She's going to fight back at some point. Maybe not right in the middle. Maybe fear, maybe emotion will overtake her in a moment. Maybe that man's strength may overpower her in the moment. But so many women fight back. They go to the police. They scratch that man. They find a way, right? And shout out to these women because these are horrible circumstances. But because they realize, they know that this is not right, their natural response to fight back kicks in. And this is, I believe, what is wrong mostly with black people. Too many of us don't recognize what's happening to us. We don't see it the way we need to see it to respond the way we need to respond. All right, you guys, stay tuned. I have a lot more to say about this, but this is just a beginning thought. And more of us need to really think on this, chew on that for a moment. Can you really fight back if you don't believe anything is happening to you? All right, you guys, thanks for watching. Top Networkers Group.